On October 15th, 2022, what started as an ordinary day for John would soon unfold into something far more tragic. That day, John had gotten ready just like any other. He had plans, simple ones, the kind young men make without thinking twice. He'd arranged to meet up with two of his close friends. The trio later gathered at the Sunoco gas station on Cedar Avenue. They weren't doing anything out of the ordinary, just waiting for a bus, maybe deciding where to go next. But as they stood there, with no reason to feel unsafe, what happened next was something no one could have predicted. In a matter of minutes, the quiet stillness at the bus stop was shattered. As John and his friends stood on the sidewalk, an SUV slowly passed by, an otherwise unremarkable moment that turned deadly in an instant. Without warning, gunfire erupted. Surveillance footage later revealed a chilling scene. John and his two companions suddenly raised their weapons and opened fire on the moving vehicle. The SUV was riddled with bullets as the trio unleashed a barrage of gunshots, seemingly without hesitation. But what they hadn't counted on was what happened next. The occupants of the SUV were armed as well, and they didn't hesitate to defend themselves. In a flash, gunfire was returned, transforming the street into a chaotic crossfire. Bullets flew in both directions as nearby witnesses scrambled for safety, ducking behind gas pumps and car doors. What began as a one-sided ambush had become a full-blown shootout. Surveillance footage not only captured the violent shootout between John and the SUV's occupants, but also something even more heartbreaking. Two innocent women who had simply been waiting for the bus nearby and had nothing to do with the altercation collapsed to the ground, struck by the bullets never meant for them. During the shootout, the 20-year-old John Hornezes Jr. was fatally struck by a return bullet from the SUV. One of his companions was also hit by a bullet to his leg, but later found to have survived. Within moments of the gunfire, multiple 911 calls flooded dispatch. When officers arrived, they were met with the devastating sight of multiple injured individuals. First responders worked quickly, administering CPR and attempting to stabilize their conditions before rushing them to the nearest hospital. But the injuries were too severe. Despite the efforts of trauma teams, both women, Betty Jean Averett, Jacqueline Mahalik, and John, were pronounced dead shortly after arrival. As investigators began piecing together the tragic puzzle, it became clear this wasn't a random act of violence. According to police, a dispute was going on, one that erupted into deadly gunfire between individuals at the bus stop and those in the passing SUV. A few days after the incident, police arrested 19-year-old Charan Troutman, one of the men believed to be inside the SUV, and he was charged with homicide in the death of 20-year-old John James Hornezes Jr. Meanwhile, 21-year-old